Hey gang, welcome back to the garage. We got one last episode, one set of restorations left for 2024, and it's going to be these guys. We're going to take pity on these two poor putty knives, I practice saying that a lot, and see if we can give them a new look. Why don't you come in closer and I'll show you what we got. So both of these knives were found at estate sales. This first one here, it is just covered in old paint and spackling and who knows what else. But the blade is in great shape. There's no rusting pit marks on it. It's got a really nice looking brass ferrule. And the handle isn't cracked or chipped or otherwise destroyed. So I'm excited to see what we could find underneath all this junk on the handle. This guy over here is really unique looking. I haven't seen a handle and a blade mounted like this before. Used to be some red paint on it, long since gone. But like the other one, the blade on this one is not rusted and pitted. It's still got a nice straight edge on it. No chips or gouges in the handle. This one's going to clean up nice as well. So we're going to do this one without a whole lot of talking. So just sit back and enjoy the restoration of these last two putty knives. So after the wire wheeling and getting all the schmutz off the blade, a little bit of a surprise. The surface isn't as smooth as we were originally led to believe. And we got some work to do. So the trick is to sand this down enough to get rid of as much of the pitting and imperfections as we can without taking away so much metal that the putty knife turns into a razor blade. So a little balancing act here. We'll just keep going slowly. All right, so update time. We got the blade sanded up through 1200 grit. And reflection test, not bad. But unfortunately, the surface was extremely pitted and marred underneath all of the gunk that I took off of it. You couldn't tell that it was pitted underneath that stuff, but this is a perfect example of you start a restoration with the hopes of what it'll look like, and the more you get into it, you realize that you're faced with something that you're not going to be able to overcome just by sanding and polishing. So this is pretty much the look that we're going to end up with on the blade. It's not terrible, but it's not what I was hoping for. But it is a lot better than what it was. So we're up through to 1200 grit on a sandpaper. We're going to give it some polishing, call the blade done, and get to work on that ferrule. The wood, I'm optimistic about the wood. So over Christmas, I picked up these conditioning discs. They're like the conditioning belts for the 1x30. And they're an attachment that just goes right onto your drill. And I thought this would be a great opportunity to try them out on this putty knife. So let's give they got a fine, a medium, and a coarse disc, just like the belt. So let's give them a try. All right, so you take the drill attachment and the disc. We're going to start with the medium one since we've already done a 120 grit sandpaper. It just threads onto here, and then you just chuck it up into your drill, and you're ready to go. Okay, so this is after the medium conditioning disc. Not a bad finish. Not a bad finish at all. We'll do the other side, and then we'll move up to the fine conditioning disc and see what we got. Now, changing the discs, not hard at all. Just unscrew the disc itself. Comes right out. Take your new disc, screw it down in, and you're ready to go. And here's after the fine conditioning disc. Has a nice finish to it. Now we can take care of sanding out the corners, taking care of these corners where I didn't reach with the disc. And then we'll just about be ready for polishing. I think reflection test is all right. Let's get it on the polishing wheel and see if we can do better. All right, metal's all finished off and polished, taped off to protect it while we tackle the wood. Let's get scraping. All right, so the sanding on the handle is done. There's still a few deep scratches and gouges in it, but I'm going to leave those because that's going to help it to match the imperfections in the blade as well. So we won't have a perfect handle that's all smooth and clean, brand new looking, and a blade that looks old. So now it'll match. So we'll clean it up a little bit, put some stain on it, and it should be good to go. Okay, so we got one handle done. It's scraped, it's sanded, it's ready for some color. This one, most of the color is already gone off of it, so we're going to do some light scraping, some sanding, clean it up, and we're going to get it looking just as good as the other one, ready for some stain itself. I'll save you the guys trouble with the video because you know what scraping looks like. So I'm going to take care of this, and I'll bring you back when we're ready for some color. Okay, so I lied. I got to bring you guys in for just a second here to see this reveal. Scraping off the paint, there's some beautiful oak underneath all of this paint. Check that out. All right, finished the handles. Sanding, scraping is done. I do believe we have a nice dark walnut handle on the small scraper and gorgeous oak handle on the larger one. We're going to get some stain on them, put some wax, and call them complete. All right, gang, with the stain and the wax on the handles for these putty knives, that brings a conclusion to the last restorations of 2024. When we started out, we took pity on these poor putty knives and stripped off all the paint, the rust, see what we could find underneath, and I think we found some gems. They are shining pretty nice. Before we get into the before and after pictures, just want to say thanks again for everybody stopping by the garage. I appreciate all the new subscribers. I'm thankful to all the old subscribers, and we look forward to a lot more fun restorations in 2025. Thanks again. Let's take a look back what these putty knives look like.